The story begins in a lonely desert where there are no houses anywhere, except for one house that belongs to Raghu. There are no people to be seen for miles. Raghu works as a railway gatekeeper, and his job is to wave the green flag when trains pass. But only 3 trains run on that track, and Raghu knows their timings very well because he has been doing this job for the past 10 years. In these 10 years, Raghu has neither seen any person nor spoken to anyone. One day, while Raghu is waving the green flag, he sees a girl jump out of a moving train. When Raghu runs to her, he finds that she is unconscious because of a head injury. Raghu lifts her onto his shoulder and carries her to his house. For Raghu, this is a big thing because for the last 10 years, he has not seen a single person, and now finally he has. He tries to touch the girl, but suddenly she wakes up and gets very scared after seeing Raghu. The girl tells him her name is Chaitali. Raghu explains that she fell from the train, so he brought her home because it was too hot outside and she might have gotten sick. Then Raghu asks how she fell from the train. Chaitali says she was traveling with her husband. When she went toward the toilet, she saw 2 men fighting. When she got in between them, they pushed her out of the train. She also says her husband must be worried and searching for her, and he might even come here anytime. But before that, she needs to reach him. Raghu tells her that there are no houses or transport anywhere nearby. If her husband comes looking, he will come here, so she should stay at his house. But Chaitali doesn't believe him and leaves alone into the desert. After walking for a long time, she still doesn't find any house. Suddenly, she feels dizzy again and faints. When she wakes up, she finds herself back in Raghu's house because Raghu had followed her and brought her back after she fainted. Raghu tells her that she cannot leave and should wait for her husband here. But Chaitali doesn't trust Raghu at all. She is scared to stay with a stranger and fears he might harm her during the night. Raghu keeps trying to convince her that she is completely safe with him. Somehow Chaitali manages to fall asleep, though she keeps waking up to check on Raghu, who is sleeping on the floor. Raghu notices that Chaitali feels uncomfortable, so he quietly goes outside. When Chaitali sees he has left, she finally sleeps peacefully. The next morning, Raghu begins his daily routine. He wakes up at 4:30 a.m., fetches water from far away, and waves the green flag for the first train of the day. He has been following the same routine for the last 10 years and has never once missed the train's timing. Raghu tells Chaitali that he hasn't spoken to another human being in all these years, so talking to her feels very special to him. By now, Chaitali starts to trust Raghu a little, because during the night he didn't try to harm her in any way. Seeing Raghu worried, she listens as he reveals a secret. He says, "Every day whenever a train passes, my telephone rings. But this telephone only receives calls. You cannot call anyone from it. When it rings again, I will tell them about you, so your husband can find you easily." A little while later, the phone rings. Just as Raghu is about to speak, Chaitali quickly cuts the call. She then confesses that she was not pushed out of the train. She jumped on her own because she was running away from her husband. She explains that she is a psychiatrist and the man she married was once her patient. Chaitali begins to tell her past story. She says, "Some years ago, a man named Sinchu came to me. He was deeply depressed because his wife had committed suicide. Since he was my first case, I gave him extra time and attention. Slowly, he started to get better, and we became friends. Spending so much time together, our friendship turned into love. But my family was against the relationship. They believed Sinchu could fall back into madness at any time. I ignored them and married him anyway. But soon after the marriage, Sinchu's real face came out. He was addicted to drugs, beat Chaitali almost every day, and treated her like she was insane. This became his daily routine, and Chaitali's life was destroyed." After telling this, Chaitali completely breaks down in tears. Raghu tells her, "Your family was right. If you had listened to them, none of this would have happened to you." Hearing this, Chaitali begins to fully trust Raghu. Later, she goes to bathe with the water Raghu had brought from far away. While she is bathing, Raghu secretly watches her. When she finishes, she asks Raghu for spare clothes. Raghu quickly gives her some of his old clothes, then goes inside to change into fresh ones himself. He even gives her a pair of slippers so she can walk more easily. Then he asks her about the scar on her back. Chaitali realizes that Raghu must have watched her while she was bathing. She explains that the scar too was given by her abusive husband. She then continues her story, telling Raghu how long she suffered Sinchu's torture. One day she found his diary, and in it, he had written everything. After reading the diary, Chaitali learns that Sinchu's wife did not commit suicide. Sinchu had killed her. The diary also mentioned that he had killed a nurse at the hospital. At that moment, Sinchu comes back. He sees Chaitali reading the diary and beats her badly. To escape the police, Sinchu was taking Chaitali away on the train, and in that panic, she jumped from the moving train. Then the story returns to the present. Chaitali has finished telling everything. After hearing her story, Raghu says their lives are very similar. He has no one in the world, and neither does she. He suggests they can live peacefully here together. Chaitali is confused and not sure what he means. Then it is time for a train, and Raghu goes to wave the flag. While he is gone, Chaitali begins to help around the house. She cooks food and cleans his room. While doing this, she finds something that shocks her. She discovers some newspaper clippings that say a man had killed 4 people and escaped. Chaitali also learns that Raghu had stolen the identity of another man named Raghu, who used to work here as the level crossing gatekeeper. After learning this, Chaitali picks up a knife and steps toward Raghu. But Raghu calmly tells her there is nothing to fear and promises to tell her the whole truth. Then Raghu's story plays out in a flashback. He says his mother had chosen a girl for him to marry. At their first meeting, he told the girl his whole truth. He once loved a woman, but she betrayed him and married a rich man. The woman chosen for him had no boyfriend and agreed to marry him. They got married. A few months later, she called her cousin to help with work, and soon I became a father, and after some years, we had 2 children. Then my wife told me she did not want more children and asked me to have a vasectomy. I agreed and went to the doctor. The doctor told me there was no need because I could not be a father. I was infertile. I was shocked. When I reached home, I was even more shocked because my wife and her cousin were together. I realized my wife was having an affair, and the 2 children were the cousins. I had no real family. I felt deep pain and killed the 4 of them. Hearing this, Chaitali comforts Raghu. She says that if someone else were in his place, they might have done the same. Raghu then explains that after he killed the 4 people, he ran away from the police and came here. Here he met a man named Raghu who worked as the gatekeeper. I started working with him, helped in the fields, and slowly I became part of this place. One day, the old gatekeeper suddenly died, and since then, I have been doing his job. 10 years passed like this. Hearing all this, Chaitali feels pity for Raghu and thinks he has suffered a lot. She decides to stay here for a few days and help Raghu with work. They had to walk very far to fetch water, but still Chaitali went to get it while she was away. At that moment, Sinchu arrives there looking for his wife. Sinchu asks Raghu if he has seen any woman. Raghu denies it and says he has not seen anyone, but Sinchu does not believe him and goes to search the house. Raghu tries to stop him and a fight breaks out. Sinchu is very strong and pushes Raghu back. Then Sinchu says his wife is under treatment and is completely mad. Her name is Shika, and she says strange things and thinks she is a doctor. Sinchu warns that if Shika is living with someone else, she could be dangerous. He asks Raghu again, "If you have seen that girl, tell me the truth. My name is Dr. Sinchu." Hearing all this, Raghu becomes worried. He doesn't know whom to trust. He quickly goes inside the house and Sinchu follows him. Inside, Sinchu finds Chaitali's clothes. Furious, he starts beating Raghu, demanding to know where Chaitali is. But Raghu says nothing. When Sinchu is about to hit him again, Raghu strikes his leg, which Sinchu falls down. Raghu then rushes to the place where Chaitali had gone to fetch water. There he asks her about Shika. Chaitali realizes that her husband Sinchu has come here. She explains to Raghu that Shika was her wife's name and that Sinchu himself had killed his wife. She says Sinchu tricks people just like he tricked Raghu. If she goes back to him, he will kill her too. Raghu still doesn't fully trust her, but somewhere deep inside, her words sound true. Chaitali suggests they call the police, but Raghu refuses because he himself is a fugitive. Both of them return home, where Sinchu tries to take Chaitali away. On the way, Chaitali begs Raghu for help, but Raghu does not help. Sinchu comes back to Raghu and offers him some money as a reward, but Raghu tells him, "You'll kill your wife anyway, so it's better you give her to me. We can live here happily together." While the two are talking, Chaitali suddenly attacks Sinchu from behind, leaving him badly injured. She tells Raghu, "You never trusted me." Hearing this, Raghu gets angry and kills Sinchu. As he searches Sinchu's wallet for money, Raghu finds a note, Dr. Sinchu and his patient Shika. This reveals the shocking truth. Chaitali's real name was Shika, and she was actually Sinchu's mentally ill patient. In reality, Chaitali was the psycho. Just as Raghu realizes the truth, Chaitali appears and attacks him. The next morning, we see Raghu, wounded, getting ready for work. Before leaving, he puts the note inside a bag where his gatekeeper ID card is also kept. This hints that Raghu has killed Chaitali as well. Now comes the final twist. The real psycho was Raghu himself. The girl he once loved had betrayed him and married a rich man. Raghu murdered both of them and their children too. Even the original gatekeeper Raghu was killed by this Raghu, who then took his place. So the big question remains, who was the real psycho? Raghu, Chaitali, or Sinchu? The decision is up to you. Share your thoughts in the comment. And with that, the movie ends. So friends, I will meet you in the upcoming recap video. Until then, take care, goodbye.